Well, that isn't an easy thing to do. Really, I started writing Old Men and Infidels thinking it was going to be a short story. It's turned into a 1,000 pages and counting. But the question I had for myself in starting to write this was, how does age of a nation affect its politics? And that question arose because of my time overseas, particularly in West Africa, which in many ways is kind of a success story. It used to be a colony with an average life expectancy of about 45 years old at the end of the Second World War. And with better medicine and better food and better commerce, better supply chain, and Western intolerance to war, that has risen into the mid to late 60s. Of a Ghanaian has dropped down into the low 20s. So that's sort of interesting. But I had a conversation with a young Ghanaian boy who, he, for reasons I don't know, sang for me the Ghanaian national anthem. And I retaliated with a Star-Spangled Banner and mentioned, while he was recovering, that it had been composed during a battle between England and America. And he said, England and America have been at war? And I said, well, yes. Both England and, we have been at war twice with England. Once was our revolution. And he said, America hasn't always been? And I said, well, no, we were a colony for 150 years. Come to think of it, both Ghana and America have been colonies of England. And he said, absolutely not. Ghana has never been a colony. Are you sure about that? Because I was your age when I heard Kwame Nkrumah declare the republic. It was a big deal. The day before it was a colony. Ghana was a colony called the Gold Coast. And he said, no, Ghana has never been a colony. I said, well, how come you speak English? He said, well, Ghana is an English-speaking country. They have to learn it in starting in second grade, but I guess that's true. There are a lot of English speakers. But it sort of said to me, this kid lives with his grandfather, who's a soccer nut. Why should you say that? And it's because his teachers have told him to say that, and that's the right answer. So if you're a young country, you have no stories of your own. You have only the stories that are given to you by somebody else. And if you're an old country, maybe you have too many stories and you don't know which one sort of fits the situation. So I wondered how that would look in America. And so I had to write a world wherein that became a reality. So Outland Exile is that country. That is the East Coast that has broken off in the distant past as far as they're concerned. It's generations ago. It's generations ago, 70 some years after the meltdown, which was 2052. Why 2052? Because I'm really sure I'm going to be dead by then. I don't want anybody coming after me saying, look at what you did. Everybody retires at 40. Full employment, free healthcare, computerless surfing of nationwide Wi-Fi, essentially. and recreational drugs at very reasonable prices. And then you retire at 40 and you go live putatively in little retirement villages scattered around the rest of the country, except you disappear from the nation as far as you're concerned. Remember that. The middle of the country has made a discovery that right now they're the only ones that have it, but everybody expects to live to be 170. And so I take one middle-aged individual, she's 17, she's in the middle of her career, she's sort of a well-renowned individual in our country, and drop her into the middle of the old country, and she's immediately captured by another middle-aged individual who's 60 years older than she. And she spends most of the book trying to kill him. She doesn't keep promises. She doesn't think he's even human. She considers him sort of a subhuman creature. And gradually, his care and concern for her wins her over to consider him not just a friend, but a lover. And then she is captured and brought back to her own country and has to now deal with her own country's culture of illusion, which essentially is what Ghana is working with, a culture of illusion. And what very much America is dealing with is a culture of illusion, where facts are not facts unless the media tells you they are facts. And that is the rest of the book. Exactly. I have no idea where that name came from. It was very fascinating to me. I sat down and very consciously started writing, and within 15 minutes I had her protagonist, if you will. She's an antagonist for most of the book, is Jesse Johnstone, and he's old, white-haired, a physician. So no similarities here at all. But when he gets excited, he speaks with a Scots brogue. By the way, have I told you I'm part Scots? And so they're very, very different. She doesn't understand him, he doesn't understand her. But within 15 minutes, these two characters had scampered up my arms and into my head and lived rent-free there for the next 5 years until I wrote them out and got them settled after 3 books. Let's see, I started writing in 2013 and it finally was published in 2015. So a couple years. The obvious challenge is I thought I was writing a short story, and after 170,000 words, I decided maybe this isn't a short story. Maybe it's not 1 book. Maybe it's at least 2 books. So I'm an absolute amateur. Also, as a physician, medical ease. Nobody does anything. The patient was prepped and taken to the operating room. Was draped in the usual fashion and an incision was made at the usual point. It's all subjunctive. It's all passive mode. So I had to hunt down all the passive mode sentences and kill them off and get back to using active short sentences. My native language is actually British English, I am been told, rather than American. My mother is British Canadian, so I pronounce things wrong, and I construct things wrong, and I don't see spellings that other people see. So somebody said, one of my editors said, "Are you trying to make this British? Or, are you really trying to just, inculcate a British audience here?" And I said, "No, this is a very American book. The Brits will not understand this. I'm not writing for them and they won't understand it." And she said, "Well, then you need to get rid of this, this, and this." And so a lot of it has been hunting down my inadvertent Britishisms. I very consciously chose to self-publish because I could get more help. I went through iUniverse with the first book because they also offered developmental editing. And developmental editing is really a graduate course in writing. I had not taken a writing course since Mrs. Smiley's course in creative writing in 12th grade in Upper Moreland High School in suburban Philadelphia. May she rest in peace, lovely lady. But I went to college for 2 years and started med school. Brevity is perhaps the soul of wit, but it's also what's demanded in medical writing. I frequently broke that rule because I was having fun. But being descriptive and being insightful is not what's encouraged in my craft. And for all the first 3 books, I was still very much a working doc. I retired in 2020 for a lot of different reasons, but not because of the writing. I'm literally in the process of process. I can identify it once it comes by, but I can't fix it up beforehand. I'm in the process of moving right now, and so my life is hectic. But I'm very much into writing another trilogy, another 1,000 pages.